guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I do a recording on my own outside of being inside a podcast, but anyway, I'll be doing a rank of all the upcoming FR that is featured on the live stream. I'll also be including my pool plans on that specific character whenever I talk about them. I'll also be talking a little bit on the mechanics, touching a little bit here and there. But anyway, let's get started.
OK これで反撃開始くらえとりゃみんなすごい
Okay, so starting last place, as much as I don't want to do this, I'm gonna have to put twins in the last place. So the idea behind twins is that they are no longer the hardest hitting character in the game, not unlike their LD debut. Right now, everyone is hitting hard. Their LD is no longer even more HP dumps. They just get a little bit upgrades on that HP attack, and their skill 1 and skill 2 is just not dealing enough damage for me to consider them as a very strong DPS character at this point. I guess the only main attractive thing about their kit is when you have, again, 3 enemies in presence, and then they will be providing a very fat aura to the entire party. Their BT effect has been promoted to producing 60% HP damage cap up to the entire party when 3 enemies are present, and then coupled along with their FR providing a 50% HP damage cap up, they'll be providing a sweet 110% party-wide HP damage cap out. I mean, of course, provided the fact that you have 3 enemies present. So given that fact alone, I'm just gonna put twins at the lowest position of the entire month. But then again, like I said before, and I was always said this, there's no bad FR Echo. I'm just putting twins as the, like what Theo always wrote as safe skip, but yeah.
Yeah! 遅いな。真実を見極めよう。いけ！恨みっこなしだ。いいな。
So coming up second last is Edgar, which is the last character of the livestream list. It might come off as a surprise because he's honestly not that bad. He deals decent damage on turn. He has a off-turn BT trap, although it's only for 1 turn activation, so kind of like Emperor, and it doesn't delay the enemy. So I'm not really sure what is that purpose of having that trap over there, but regardless, Edgar, I'm just gonna put him here because yes, Edgar enables damage with his Imperil, and his Imperil works in a form of weapon type, so he does Imperil magic, range, and melee attack. The only perks about having Edgar in the team is fighting mechanics that is really niche to his usability. For example, the Shiba fight, which of course feature him as a character, obviously is gonna use his mechanic. And surprisingly, Spirited Shiba is actually one of the hardest fight post Echo. Also, the upcoming Cater FR, which also features Edgar's FR in it, also has the same mechanics where you need to imperil them to actually do damage. So ultimately, Edgar comes off as a niche utility where you normally will only use him in a stage that actually prioritizes his specific mechanic, which is not a lot. So outside of those, I just don't see Edgar as a unit that is really strong. His HP damage cap up to the entire party is not really significant either. His FR doesn't have it, although his FR is a very easy to fulfill FR, but let's be honest, at this point, most FR that we are getting in the upcoming future is all gonna be very easy for you to fulfill completely off the FR HP damage condition. So yeah, personally, I think Edgar is great as a character. If you like him, feel free to pull him. His BT effect is decent. His animation is actually quite nice with Jesse in it in his FR. But overall, I just think that he doesn't worth as much for your resources as compared to the other upcoming units that we'll be getting. Yeah.
闇をあふれろ。調子に乗るなよ。この力で。闇の制裁よ。
And coming up next after Edgar, it's going to be, well, it pains me to say this, but it's gonna be Pain, get it? Anyway, Pain, surprisingly, yes, I put her at the third last as compared to the other units that we have. Pain does open up to very interesting gameplay. When you put her in the left position, everyone on the right, including herself, will gain an extra turn every time they use up a turn, which is the perks of having her on the left side. On the right side, I don't really recall, but Pain also does provide disruption to the boss by applying HP silence. So that is also another situation for Pain to have really good utility. She also provides very good debuff as well as poison the entire enemy with her HP poison, although sadly doesn't scale with her FR. Her FR condition is just like all those that comes before her and after her. It's just really easy to fulfill, so feel free to use her as a main or as a FR Echo relegated. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, Pain as a character, she does provide very interesting utility with the turn hogging as well as the silence, but she herself doesn't actually provide a lot in terms of her own damage. And of course, in the FR Echo era where you're not really that specifying or that devastating for your teammate to take a turn, it doesn't really matter if the teammate doesn't turn hog. So I would say Pain is fun to play with, but definitely not a very strong unit as compared to what we are getting in the compared to other characters. But yeah.
やってやるさ。よっ。動くなよ。
Moving up next, we'll actually be getting Baltier, yes, the leading man himself. So I was actually debating whether to put Baltier here or Noctis here, but to be honest, what Baltier provides to the party can actually be replicated by other units that you might already have. So Baltier essentially with the rework becomes a very strong DPS character instead of just an aura bot or a supportive unit. With the BT effect active, he gained a follow-up attack that allows him to do very decent damage. His damage is actually on par to all those DPS characters that we have, like Squall, like Tifa. So Baltier is actually a really good character in my opinion. And also, he has an instant turn FR, which is really easy for you to leave it at the last second for a very good amount of FR echo damage. So in that sense, yes, Baltier is actually very strong. The only issue about Baltier is outside his own turn, his own FR as the main FR is not really the best because the condition is not that easy to fulfill, but he does open up to very unique mechanics that you play with, like for example running him with Beatrix and removing buff while the enemy takes a turn, which results in you getting a very good amount of HP damage bonus out. But then again, most of Baltier's FR Echo is now relegated to as just an echo for final damage, or of course you can just use it as a instant turn FR HP damage bonus boost. So yeah, in my opinion, he's definitely worth a little bit. He might be worth a little bit higher. Like I said, might be a little bit interchangeable between all these characters up right after him. But for now, I'll put him here just because I think the upcoming characters are a little bit more worth it than Baltier in that sense, since they provide a little bit more different in terms of their utility. But anyway. As I have leaked in my previous statement, the next upcoming one is actually Noctis. So Noctis finally gained a very decent follow-up attack. I think he does 4 or 3 follow-up single target follow-up. I think it's 4. Yeah, 4 single target follow-up attack on the specific target that you attack for every character. So Noctis right now becomes a very strong follow-up attack. He does have decent damage on turn, but who am I kidding? You're only going to use him as a follow-up attack or if you're going for a 0-turn gameplay. So Noctis himself actually has a very decent FR. I mean, at this point, everyone has a very decent FR. His FR is actually quite similar to Squall, and news disclaimer, Squall and Noctis can be really good together because they both have the essential condition for each other's HP damage bonus in their own FR. So anyway, Noctis actually has a very decent FR with damage and everything, but the only problem with Noctis is that he can hardly cap without decent support because Noctis damage, Brave attack, is actually really low as compared to the amount of HP attacks that he deals with. So if you want Noctis to be completely capping his attack, make sure you provide him with enough support. So Noctis' only issue is that he doesn't provide much to the party outside of having the follow-up attack. His aura is not the greatest, and he doesn't enable the party in terms of their own damage as good as what the upcoming characters will be getting. For example, Leo. Leo provides the same single target follow-up with Noctis, but Leo provides so much more than just follow-up. He enables the party, he delays, but anyway, let's talk about Noctis first. He's also not the easiest character to play with, to be honest. If you're a newer player, I wouldn't suggest going for Noctis, especially you're not into those kind of low turn count gameplay. So yeah, I think Noctis is strong, but not significant enough for me to put him any higher. So coming up after Noctis, okay, all these characters is getting really hard to rank, to be honest, but I'm gonna put Zack right here. Okay, hear me out, Zack is really good. The only problem with Zack is that we're in the phase of after Ruby Kante, so you can imagine how off-turn characters just sound so meek right now, I guess you can say the word for it. But anyway, Zack doesn't have any counters, and he's not the best when it comes to giving the party turns for his own FR because they just don't boost a lot. Zack himself does have the benefit of getting 80% if he himself taking the turn, because he's the one that has all those enemies targeting himself. So Zack is an on-turn, off-turn kind of gameplay, hybrid gameplay, but mainly on his own turn, because the HP damage bonus the HP damage cap that you gain from his FR effect is only applicable to he himself if you use it as a main. So kind of sad for your side characters, since Zack actually provides decent auras, but then again, outside of those, Zack is the usual where he protects the entire party, he doesn't let them die, he's very easy to play with, he's a magic attacker which is quite popular in the upcoming event. So yeah, I think Zack personally is decent as a character, is quite a decent pool, especially if you're a new player, since if you skip Ruby Kante, he definitely, his worth is going to be a lot better, but if you didn't, then yeah, Ruby Kante is just too broken right now to be considered any other option for your off-turn damage dealing. One thing to note though is that Zack actually has one of the strongest BT finisher, so given with the effect, if you may able to cap his entire damage in his BT finisher, it can be quite devastating. So yeah, put that into consideration. Zack is an on-turn, off-turn hybrid, and he actually pairs really well with Squall as well because of the fact that he has a stack on his overhead and everything. But yeah, this is just a general idea of Zack as a character, not who is good with pairing who.
氷結の剣よ、任務を遂行させてもらう。記憶から消えるがいい。
And coming up after Zack is actually Kurosame. Yes, I put Kurosame above Zack. Kurosame deals very, very decent damage. His damage is even better than Tifa, if you can believe it, in a 2-enemy situation. So yeah, Kurosame gains a follow-up that actually deals, he already has a follow-up, but right now his follow-up just deals a ton of damage. I don't recall how many HP attack there is, but I know that there is a lot. So yeah, with follow-up attack, you always know that FR is going to be dealing a huge ton of damage if you leave the FR echo as the last attack. Anyway, Kurosame FR is also really easy to fulfill, especially if you have his BT. His BT effect is also actually really decent. His hero debuff will actually maintain at 5 stacks even if the enemy takes a turn. And of course, his BT effect also has the Golbas Bravery Freeze, which protect your entire party. So Kurosame essentially enchant your party so that they can deal substantial damage as well as protect your party with the Bravery Freeze. So a very good FR and a very good unit overall as a character. The only problem is he's Ice Enchanted. So if you're running stages where they actually limit all those elements, like for example the Aerial 5 one, it might be tricky to run Kurosame right there. But other than that, I think Kurosame is just overall a very decent character. Not the greatest, but definitely not a very bad character. And coming up after Kurosame, we're getting into our top 4 characters. Okay, the top 4 is a little bit hard to rank, to be honest, but I'm gonna put Rain right here. Yes, Cid Rain, you heard him right. He's just really good as a character right now. What changes about him is that he gained an echo, which allows him right now to gain an effect whenever you use his FR as a main. The entire party will gain a launchable ability on all their skill, basically like an aura of Selphie's LD effect. So that's actually really awesome because everyone right now can actually completely fulfill Rain's condition without having to have a launcher or Selphie in the party. So this actually gives Rain a lot more benefits of having to run his FR as a main instead of just relegating to Echo. Not also considering the fact that Rain, as you all know, has a very strong follow-up attack, so his FR Echo as a final damage can be extremely devastating as well. So yeah, as a DPS character, he's just really strong, he turn manipulates, he has all these launches going on, so Rain is just overall a very broken character right now. I personally think that if you don't have a DPS, he's just one of the best, so definitely pull him. He might arguably be still really good in current JP era, because for Green Crystal, we just don't get a lot of DPS with FR Echo. Sad Rinoa noise, man.
隙を見せたな。せい。と。惑う暇などないぞ。手は抜かん。せや。出直してこい。
Anyway, going into our top 3, you would know who they are as I would recommend here. First of all, it's going to be Core. Yes, the global first character returns with a BT tied to him. Core, as usual, is very flexible, all-around character. You can slot him in on-turn, off-turn, it's up to you. He protects the party, he enables them to do more damage. He's also really easy to use. I think the only problem about Core is that, first of all, his own damage is not the best. You need to actually provide substantial support if you want him to cap his attack. And secondly is that he actually requires a lot of turn to set up if you're running for a rush into FR and then into Echo and then into a huge ton of off-turn damage. Then you might want to consider running Lunafreya Call on him, because Core actually needs 4 turns to complete his setup. He's going to use his skill 1 or skill 2 first on an ally, and then use his EX, and then use his BT finisher, and then finally use his skill 1 or skill 2 to the next ally that is not protected. By doing so, he can protect everyone, including himself. However, also note that his BT plus finisher is actually a low turn rate attack, so this will allow Core to actually delay himself every time he uses BT plus, which is not really what you want if you're looking for a quick setup. So like I said, Core requires some time to set up, so you might want to consider giving him a Lunafreya Call so that he can get many turns in one go and then finish up the setup as soon as possible. But yeah, Core is definitely still a very strong character, very easy to use, can suit in almost all situations. That's why I put him here.
させない。お願い。力貸して。あとちょっと。
And leaving with the only 2 more characters is actually rather obvious, to be honest. The runner-up here today, I'm going to put Aerith here. So Aerith as a character is just really strong. Trust me, I'm not a huge Aerith fan as a unit herself, but I really believe her kit is so broken. First of all, her BT effect. She essentially gained a unlimited turns of BT, where it only expired if your party members goes below 50% of their own HP. And she also provides a gold debuff on your entire party for 4 turns. So what this gold buff does is it allows you to take 0 HP attack. I think 0 bravery attack as well. So essentially with this gold buff presence, you will essentially never expired Aerith BT effect. So yeah, really good, pretty awesome. And she also gains a follow-up attack, which increase every time she heals the party but doesn't decrease ever, so yeah, really good. But I think the main selling point of Aerith, outside of her own original kit which prevent debuff and then prevent the boss from buffing themselves, outside all this original kit, she also gained a supercharging FR Echo. That is probably the best thing about Aerith. She's the only supercharged FR Echo even in JP right now. That is just how good it is. So what does this mean is that instead of gaining the additional 20% for a FR Echo, right now by using her FR Echo, if you're not fulfilling any condition, you'll always gain 90%. So that is insane. Imagine if you fulfill all the condition, it can go up to 180% or so, I don't know, but it's just so good. Imagine running Penelo with Aerith FR, you can see all those numbers just shooting up. That's just how good Aerith FR is. And like I said, she's the only FR Echo that's supercharged in the game right now, because Minwoo and Penelo doesn't get their Echo yet. So yeah, Aerith is definitely one of the strongest character. I guess the only issue with Aerith is that her own damage is not as significant. It's better if you run her as a party member and then have someone enter their BT mode to fully utilize their damage based on Aerith aura. Also remember the fact that Aerith can be easily swapped out with another character since her FR is instant turn, so you can run her as a party member that swap out with a friend unit, or run her as a friend unit and have her use her Echo and then swap out with your own unit to use her Echo to deal maximum amount of HP damage bonus boost. So yeah, really good character overall.
腕によりをかけるある。旨味を引き出すテクニックある。いただきますある。息のいい食材だった。
And lastly, we got the champion, the king of culinary, the king of frog, whatever you want to call her. I'm just going to put it as a her. I don't care what kind of gender she is. She's going to be Kina. Yes, Kina is going to be the best upcoming character that you'll be getting. So what she essentially does and what she essentially has is her BT effect. That is her main selling point. So what it does is that it enables you to cap your HP damage no matter how low it is, or no matter how much bravery attack you have. The only thing that you might not deal the maximum HP damage is that you are broken and you did not leave the broken state when you perform that HP attack itself. So outside of that, you're just going to do the maximum damage even in your launch, even in everything else. That just makes it so easy for you to set up your entire team composition, because you don't need any supportive character to boost your damage. You just need Kina and then your DPS and he'll go crazy. Also, Kina has Trap. As if that's not enough for you, she has Trap in her freaking LD. She'll land a 6-turn trap on the enemy, which attack preemptively. So yes, preemptive attack. She's the third unit outside of Maria and Core, if I'm not wrong, to have preemptive attack. And this allows, again, open up even more mechanics of fun gameplay. But that itself makes Kina one of the most desirable character that we'll be getting, and one of the strongest unit as a supporting character to provide the maximum damage to your entire party. Imagine Zack's BT plus finisher with Kina. Holy shit, you don't need anything else. Noctis, not doing enough damage, just bring Kina. Core, not maxing his damage, just bring Kina. Everything else, just bring him. She'll eat all the frog, bring her. Sorry, she'll eat all the frog and then she'll do the maximum damage. That's just how broken Kina is. And of course, between Kina and Aerith, to be honest, they are interchangeable in my opinion, depends on situation. If you're running a team where you know you already will cap your entire damage, then maybe you don't need Kina, you need Aerith for the extra HP damage boost. But if you're running a team with the limited amount of supportive character, then run Kina. You don't need any support anymore. Although having them both in the same party is going to be insanely good. Imagine Aerith boosting your HP damage bonus and then Kina making sure you always cap no matter how low your damage is. Yes, that's the star of these two characters. It's just so good. Anyway, yeah, I think Kina is broken. I don't even know what the developer was thinking when they create this character. She's just enabling the damage so much. She just broke all the mechanic. Even Hell House she just makes it so easy. So yeah, if you're not pulling for Aerith and you have trouble clearing Hell House, then definitely wait until Kina was released and then everything is going to become so much easier. But anyway guys, that's my list of characters. As for pulling though, okay, it's going to be quite controversial because I'm pulling characters I say that it's going to be really bad. Okay, first of all, I'm pulling Twins. Yes, I know I put them last, but I really like them as a character and I already have all of their kit except their FR, so I think why not? And then I'm pulling Noctis, I'm pulling Core. I'm also pulling Kina and Aerith for obvious reason. I have to skip Kurosame though, sadly, because I had him in JP. He's fun to play with, but I want to go for another route this time. And I already have Sid Rain, so yeah, just a free upgrade over there. I'm skipping Zack. I don't have Pain, so Pain might be very interesting to play with, but I'm not sure I have enough resources to max her up, given the fact that both Core and Noctis is what I want and I don't have them green, both of them, so I might want to save my resources until then. As for Edgar, I'm gonna skip him, but I'm gonna just take out his kit just for insurance purposes. Like if I do have trouble clearing content with his event debut or Kater's LC later, then I might bring him for extra good measures, who knows. But anyway guys, I hope you guys had fun here. I normally don't do this, but I think it's kind of fun to just rank all this character. In my opinion, of course, you can just let me know what your opinion is. And let me know if there's any characters you think that should be higher or should be lower, or are they in the right position. Anyway, thank you guys again for watching. It's been fun. I'm not sure how often I'll do this, but this time it's actually quite fun. I guess the 4 events per month is helping with me, giving more time for my end to make this kind of video. But thank you again guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.